What's up, Bulldogs? All right, I got an interesting question here, very philosophical. But we're going to talk about like resistance and motivation and why you should do things that you are not inclined to do, which I think is a valid question. It's a good question, right? Because, maybe you should just go with the flow. Maybe you should just do what you want to do. Enjoy your life, not do things that are hard. So we're going to jump into the email here that I got. This is from, I think it's Zil, X-I-L. He said, "Hi, John, I have a question. If you could make a YouTube video response, why should I fight against lack of motivation and resistance? What if it is a natural disinclination towards doing certain things that I should listen to?" Pressfield uses Neoplatonism to justify doing so, where he believes in evil spiritual forces preventing him from doing what he thinks he wants, when it's more likely just due to there being no good reason to do things. Thanks. Okay, so a couple of things I'd have to say about this. First of all, about the evil spiritual forces, I don't necessarily believe even that Stephen Pressfield believes in the evil spiritual forces, okay? But with that said, I totally believe in like a total cosmic reason for things, and that there are spiritual forces, if you will, or inclinations that are above us, that everything happens for a reason in life, that it is all part of some great orchestra playing this music that we can tap into, and I think there is a reason for that and a reason for things. And so when you talk about like in terms of like evil spiritual forces, it's not evil spiritual forces. It's just kind of like this. And again, I talk about this a lot. A lot of people have asked me about religion and things like that, and I did a video where I was talking about I don't think there's such a thing as evil. I think it's just a lack of understanding and knowledge. And and it doesn't matter where you sit on this, because again, a lot of you guys are religious, and that's fine. That's great. But, if you believe in God, then the highest thing to attain is that of love, right? That always is the overriding thing. And that is like, if you move in the direction of love, you're moving in the right direction, right? And in all areas of life, in all ways, that is the correct direction to move. And so it's not about like evil. It's about moving in the correct direction. Like, what is a direction that yields a higher result, a better result, that yields more tranquility and peace in your life? It's always in that direction of love. It's never in the opposite direction of that. And that's why a lot of actions that I use to guide my life are based on that. Now, again, it doesn't mean letting people take advantage of you. It doesn't mean like being self-sacrificing and being a martyr or anything like that. It just means that your actions are based out of that. And so relating this back to this whole thing about resistance and motivation, why am I going here, is because I want you to understand that, the reason for overcoming resistance, the reason for fighting against this force, I don't think it's some dark, sardonic force that is trying to bring you down, but it's internal within you, is that you want to fall back into what is easy for you, what is emotional to you, and instead of that direction of love, what is better, what is a higher calling, right? So you could look at it this way. It's like, and kind of the way that I kind of view things is that there's nothing that's like bad, like evil bad, right? It's more that it's just not, there's better, right? There's better, like, and that's a way to like look at people's behavior and not judge them, is because you say, well, okay, so this person did something that was, quote, bad. It's just they lack understanding. They don't really know what they're doing. They don't understand. Even like, you go back to biblical, right? When Jesus was on the cross and he says, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing, right? That is what the meaning of that is. Again, whether you're religious or not, and again, I'm not necessarily, but there's something to be had from that understanding of that, like, you should look at it as like people don't know what they're doing, and there's higher planes of existence, there's higher callings, there's better ways to be, and that you sort of have to climb up that ladder and climb up that tree. And so again, relating this back to motivation and resistance, why is this so important? Is because there's sort of this internal compass, and Stephen Pressfield in The War of Art talks about this. He talks about this internal compass, that you should move in the direction of fear, that you should move in the direction of resistance. And those things are pushing you in the correct direction because, in order to achieve that higher level of being, you have to fight against your natural desire that is bringing you down to that lower level, right? And that really, I do believe, exists. And so when you're talking about overcoming resistance, it's because what he said in the book, which is that the things that are actually good for you, you don't want to do them, right? The things that are actually going to be spiritually beneficial to you, that are going to be beneficial to your life, like those good causes and callings, for some reason you have this natural inclination to not want to do those things, and you sort of have to fight to develop those things. And I think that that's designed in the universe for a reason, is because when you do things that you don't want to do, it builds character. When you go through things that you don't want to do, when you take the hard path in life, it builds character. Just like, there's a Stoic story of Hercules, right? Hercules, the Greek demigod, right? And he was presented with this path. I think Plato had talked about this path in life, where there was the path of this, this maiden or whatever. And she was like, you can come down this path, and it's the path of vice. And basically, like, you won't have to do anything in life. Like, you can have all the pleasures you want. You can have all the women you want. You can have all the money and food and everything. And you just have this easy life, and everything that you want will be given to you, right? And no struggles and whatnot. And then, like a gluttony of like vice, like just giving in to all your vices. And then there's this other path, and this path, the maiden on this path, she wasn't, very decorated, and, she was more homely, right? Where the vice path, she was all, decked out and stuff, right? And on that path, and she says, you can come down my path, and you're just going to have hardship. It's going to be toil. You're going to have to work hard and sacrifice for people, and like nothing is going to be given to you. You're going to have to earn it all, and you're going to have to work your way through this, and your life is going to be hard. But you will actually have some pride. Like, you will have actually accomplished something. You'll have, you have done something. You'll have built yourself. You'll become something by going down this path, right? You'll have earned that. You could say is glory, not pride. I meant glory, right? And he chose the hard path, right? And, you look at that choice, and why choose the hard path? Why do things? Why go against your lack of motivation? Why dive into resistance to the things that you resist? It's because, see, life isn't really about what you get. All right. Again, I can say this as being a multimillionaire myself, having had all the things in life, having had the money, having had the women, having had all these things, right? I don't need to tell you guys, having been able to retire young and all these things. And none of those things really make you happy. Okay. But what does make you happy, or rather the word is fulfillment, what makes you feel fulfilled, right, is who you become, right? The path that you had taken to get there, and who you become in that process. Because when you do something that is hard and difficult, you feel a way about it, right? It builds something within you that can never be taken away. See, because all the other things in life can be taken away, right? All of the money you can make in life, someone could take it. You could get sued, okay? You could, whatever, you could fall on hard times. Even relationships, right? A lot of you guys, you follow this channel because you're like, you want to get laid all the time. I get it, okay? But women, right? Your looks, all these things, your physical health, all of these things can be taken away. Every one of them can be taken away from you. And again, this comes right down to the core of Stoic philosophy is that it's only valuable what you would have if everything were taken from you. But the thing that can't be taken from you is who you are and what you've become and the journey that you've taken along that path. And that's why that's so critical. Now, again, we have to use some logic. We have to use some pragmatism and be practical. That's what I do on this channel. And it doesn't mean that you should just do everything because it's hard and do things the hard way, right? Okay. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that, and you know this, and you know this internally, right? No one needs to tell you that this feeling, this resistance that Stephen Pressfield had called in his book, The War of Art, that when there's something you should be doing because it will make you better, right? And you could look at it as like, let's just take a real simple example, like let's going to the gym and working out, okay? you don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay. I mean, there's some insanely, mentally deranged people that do want to do that. Okay. But you do it anyway, right? Because there's a benefit, because it builds you. It doesn't just build you physically, but it builds you mentally. You become a stronger person by forcing yourself to do this thing. And it is beneficial, right? It doesn't mean to do everything, but the things that you should be doing in life that will help you grow as a person. And that is your internal compass, and that is your personalized compass, and that is the direction that you need to go. You need to go into the direction of fear, the directions of resistance. That is the things that you need to conquer. And as you conquer those things, you will become more understanding. You will gain a greater understanding in life. You will move, ultimately, circling back to the beginning of this video, in the direction of love. Because as you gain perspective and you gain understanding, right, then you will see things much more clear. And the best way to get wisdom and to see things clear is by going through a lot of shit, right? And shit that you bring upon yourself in order to run the race, in order to become better. Because as you see that, you start to realize, you start to get this perspective in life that nothing is really that bad. Nothing is really that important. Nothing is the end of the world. I don't need to hold this grudge. I don't need to be angry. I don't need to go through all of these things, because you've been through a lot, because you've put that upon yourself and you've overcome, right? And you have that confidence and you have that belief in yourself, and you know that you don't need to prove yourself, right? Because as we're starting out, in our journeys in life, we have all these things. We have these things we need to prove to ourselves. We need to prove to others. We need validation. We need other people to tell us we're good. We need all these things. But as we journey and we overcome hardships and we overcome resistance and we do things and we build ourselves as a human being, we no longer need those things. And so it opens us up to be able to see a better perspective and to see how things really are, and to have compassion for other people, to move in that direction of that higher plane, which is, if you believe in God, it's love. That is ultimately the answer. And so why do hard things? Sometimes you just do them because they're hard, and that's the truth of it. So I'm never going to be able to make a perfect argument for why you should do things you don't want to do, right? Because it's never going to make 100% sense logically to you, right? I could tell you about the delayed gratification, and everyone talks about that, and that's fine, but that's not always the case. It's not always the case that you do something because you're going to get some bigger benefit in the end. Sometimes that bigger benefit is one that is not a material benefit, and that's really the most important thing, because you can sacrifice, you could penny pinch, you could save, you could whatever, and you could have some big financial payday someday, and you still won't be happy. So that's why I don't want to take that road in telling you this. Instead, I want to take what I think is a better road. If you guys are just joining me for the first time, by the way, I'm John from BulldogMindset.com. On this channel, I teach you how to be a man. I teach you how to build financial independence, how to get the physique you want, how to get the girls you want, how to go from the victim mindset to the Bulldog mindset. Click that subscribe button to join us on this journey. And if you've been listening this far and you want to hear more about this kind of thing, this question came from the Bulldog Mindset membership. There's a link down below, $7 to join for the first month. I think you'll find that it is a community unlike many others, where you can actually find a bunch of people that are wanting to grow and develop themselves as well. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. Let me know, what do you think about fighting against a lack of motivation and resistance? Should you do it? Is there some spiritual reason to do this? Or are you going to take a fully pragmatic viewpoint in life? I think the best approach is a mixed one, is where you are pragmatic, but then you also realize that there are certain things that you do just because they are hard. And because by doing hard things, it makes you stronger. And there's some value to being stronger, because that's where wisdom comes from.